Hey everyone, welcome to Moon Key Tarot. Let's do a reading. I want to do a Celtic cross, but to start off that Celtic cross, I want us to use the Archeo to see who we're dealing with. So let's do that now. I've asked Archangel Michael to be with us in this space for protection. And I ask Archangel Raphael to be with us in this space for healing. And Archangel Gabriel to be with us in this space for communication. So that we may receive truths for our highest mind and our highest good. And the Holy Spirit is with us also. Who is it we're dealing with? Looks like we are dealing with a high wraith. The high wraith. I'll read the high wraith to you. Okay, I'm going to read this to you. This is who we're dealing with. The high wraith is elusive. She is the sense of loss and nostalgia we feel for a place or a person that we never knew. She is the missing that which lingers like a dull, aching grief in our bones. If you chase her, she will recede, but if you invite her to make herself known, she may approach and relieve you of your hollow longing. The persona of the high wraith touches something within us that sits haunched and knowing in a corner of our souls, a vaguely conscious emotion that can never be brought to the surface and named. A Welsh have a word for this amorphous sensation, high wraith, defined as a homesickness for a home to which you cannot return, to a place which maybe never was. The nostalgia, yearning, or grief for lost terrains of your past, or the sadness that comes from knowing that someone who is deeply important to you is forever out of sight. So right away I can see that this is you, the viewer, and you're dealing with a deep sadness. You can see that veil over her head like a funeral veil. You're dealing with a deep, deep grief. You've come to the realization that there are people that you came into this world with, you entered this world knowing that will not be going with you on the rest of your journey. And that's the look of a person who's kind of holding their stomach in pain, kind of hunched over, kind of, I pretty much can't believe this is happening, but it is. And this is someone accepting that these are those moments where they accept that this is happening and there's nothing that can be done to change it, because people make their choices and every choice has consequences. And karma must be paid, because we are in the law of cause and effect. When we are young, we often believe this someone to be our kindred spirit, our love. Later, we realize the missing person resides within, and in order to negate the clinging feelings of loss, we try to mend our sense of being broken by searching for a way to bring together the fragmented parts. In hindsight, the missing part of us may in reality be what has first seemed, a shadow companion whose presence will only break cover when we turn sharply to embrace it. So this is your ability to look into the mirror. It's really just everything being as truthful as it can possibly be. No delusion and no glamour is at play. And you realize everything as it is. And there's some places you can never go back to. There's not a home that you can ever go back to. If it's not a home That's it. She's doubled over in pain, realizing that there are some places that she can never return. There are people that can never return to her. There are people that she can never return to. And it's a closing of a chapter, if not a whole book. And that book's never going to be opened again. And she's realizing that. So the full moon is actually about 89% right now, or 85 to 89%. So we'll go ahead and consider this a full moon reading. And we're going to use the Queen of the Moon Oracle to see what she has to say. So as the High Wraith, you are definitely you've went within on yourself. You've had some realizations and some harsh truths that the stream that's passed is it's a stream of water that's never going to approach again, because it's a constant, ever-flowing stream. And that's not to say you won't be if it's someone that is gone forever, you won't be able to be reunited with them later. But in accordance with our vibrational frequency, if we're not on the same plane with other entities, then those entities simply are not in our reality. And the Queen of the Moon Oracle is actually being quiet. So maybe there's a big secret in the midst, something that's being kept quiet right now. That's been there. That's what it was, because the energy started flowing after that. So someone, or collectively, there is a big secret surrounding you, a hush, it feels like the energy's stagnant, but it's actually being held still. The energy is being held still intentionally right now. So here we have nourishment. We have a waxing crescent. The waxing crescent, that's our full moon. You see the full moon in the background. Nourishment. So during this full moon, you definitely want to do a lot of nourishment. You want to go ahead and maybe start mentally prepping for a full moon ritual. Some things you can do is just cleanse your crystals, make sure you're in a state of purification, and you did some, it's not just cleansing, it's, getting in the ocean with setting verbal intention of let this water cleanse me, or just water, working with water in general, saying, holding it in your hand and saying, this water will wash off all my impurities and imperfections and stuff like that. So Spirit wants you to really nourish yourself, take some time, go into isolation potentially and meditate, and maybe eat. Maybe for the few days following up, you could eat raw food, raw vegan, raw food, just to kind of detox, and a lot of juicing, maybe some fasting on the day of, just stuff like that. Rituals where you do manifestation rituals where you write stuff down and burn it over a fire in the full moon, stuff like that, stuff that you would like to bring into your life, stuff like that. So Spirit, yeah, we pulled out the Queen of the Moon Oracle because we're approaching the full moon, and Spirit definitely wants to talk about that full moon. So waxing crescent 5. This is number 7. Life path number 7 immediately came to mind. I would actually like to read this Queen of the Moon Oracle. I'll read that, number 7. Okay. Yeah. They're holding in their hand fruit. I see maybe a giant orange and a pear. But there's just a lot of fruit hanging off the tree. I see some blackberries and carrots. Yeah. I do see that the moon up there is made with cheese, and it looks like milk's pouring out of it. I don't really like that part as a vegan. I don't think that's good on detox days or fasting days, or it doesn't go well with the raw diet either. Um, but yeah, well, Spirit wants you to nourish yourself. Obviously, if you're vegan, you're not going to be eating the cheese and dairy. But let's go ahead and read this. Choose to nourish your mind, body, and spirit. Feed your values. When you're jealous or envious, it is a sign that you are actually hungering for. It is a sign of what you are actually hungering for. Pay attention to your health. I choose to nourish myself. As all of us have a set of values that are as individual as our fingerprints, sometimes we aren't sure what they might be if asked, but unconsciously we know. How do we know? Because if our values are not being met or lived, we rebel. We get angry, sad, depressed, irritable, or stuck, or we take the chaotic choice in our decision making, and commonly our relationships in life are not harmonious. So this isn't just nourishment with food, this is nourishment with people, nourishment with your emotions. Spirit wants you to focus on your emotions as well right now, especially during this full moon, because actually the full moon is probably going to pull out some heightened awareness of a sort, and it may also pull out some stagnant emotions for cleansing and purging. That's what the full moon is really notorious for. Meeting our values and living by them is a sure way to nourish our being. We feel more complete and fulfilled if we are able to do that. Additionally, it probably isn't an exaggeration to say that the Western world is obsessed by food for the wrong reasons. Food is often used as pain relief, with many people overeating due to anxiety or pain. Food becomes a diversion rather than something that is nourishing or even simply enjoyable. Learning to nourish bodies purely to give them what they really need is the key to mental and physical health. A companion stone or metal is emerald. You know, guys, that's so interesting because right now we are in May and that birthstone is the emerald. So Spirit's really, you got a double confirmation. Spirit's really honing in right now with the timing of this reading, saying that this full moon is really going to be really pivotal for you, ascension wise and cleansing and purification and spiritually wise, because you're really going to be able to utilize it to cleanse yourself and purge yourself of any stagnant energies or blockages that you may have. And yeah, you're really going through something right now with the high wraith. You're missing something. You may be longing for home. You may be longing for someone. There's something absent from your life. So Spirit really wants you to isolate, meditate, nourish yourself, cleanse, purge on this full moon. To really get some clarity and breakthrough on this situation right here. So we'll go ahead and also get a lantern oracle. See what Spirit wants us to know. Spirit was working heavily with you right now, and I think Spirit's probably able to work with you better if you're not surrounded by a lot of distractions, entities, people and things, persons or things. Okay. So we have here the Lantern Oracle. Let's see what Spirit has to say. I was going to do a Celtic cross, but I'm not going to on this one. We'll see what happens. Okay, Spirit said, emptied. The ending and beginning lie at either side of the same door. Wow. Yeah. She's really going through it, you guys. Someone is really going through it. Someone's experienced a loss. Someone's experiencing grief. She's doubled over in pain. Now she's on the ground. If you could see the card a little better, there's a golden light through here. Yeah, she's experiencing a deep longing sense of loss right now. I don't even want to specify as to how that could be presenting in someone's life, but I definitely urge you to reach out to your Creator right now and give that loss over to them and ask God, because He is the filler of voids. And if you give him this void inside of you, he will give you an adequate something in your life to fill that void, instead of you trying to fill that void yourself with some sort of entertaining or addictive sort of deal. Definitely reach out to the heavens to ask them how you fill this void, because you are clearly dealing with something. And Spirit wants you to utilize this full moon. This full moon is really going to bring in some powerful energies for you to utilize. Spirit's going to nourish your soul. Spirit wants to nourish your soul right now. You need nourishment right now. You are in need of deep nourishment right now. And you may be the only one around to give that to yourself. And that means food. That means adequate rest. That means adequate hydration. That means drinking your herbal teas every day, taking your vitamins and supplements, saying your prayer, doing what you need to do to make sure you stay centered and focused at all times and in all places, so that you may deal with all situations as they approach. You're in a very vulnerable spot right now, but Spirit is protecting you. You have a force field of protection around you, you see. Do you see this strong figure in the back? That's an archangel standing behind you. You are being watched by the angels. They are watching you grieve right now. They know that you are grieving right now. They are protecting you in this delicate state. You are fully and divinely protected right now in this delicate state. You are grieving right now. Here, back here, you have a lantern that's dimly lit, and then you have a little dragonfly. Listen, the fact of the matter is you have entities surrounding you that think you're weak right now because you're going through a period of grief. It's set you on a vibrational frequency. This is your light. And you have entities around you that want that light. Do you see that? It's like a shadow figure. When I look directly at it, I can't see it. It's just the trees. But when I put it through the mirror, it's a shadow figure. Something's trying to feed off of you right now. You need to protect yourself. You are protected. That's what you need to know. This is not a fear-monger message. You are protected. You see that? There's a dragonfly protecting that light. He's tiny. He is mighty. Sent from the Almighty. You are fully protected. You see that? That's an archangel. It doesn't matter what entities are around you right now. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. God is with you. Your Creator is with you. You have a fierce architect surrounding you right now. You're hurting. You're very hurting. You're hurting. You're wearing black. You're grieving. You're being protected. Nothing can interfere with you right now while you're going through this process, because this process is crucial for your human evolution. And there's no petty desire, no petty agenda, no petty motivation can alter that. This is your life path right now to be protected. Life path 7 potentially. You are divinely protected. You are experiencing something profound. You are experiencing something profound. And the heavens is not going to let anything interfere with that. You see, karma, Creator will let people meddle in your lives up to an extent. Because ultimately, God has a divine plan, a good plan that has to be rolled out. And if anything interferes with that good plan, it will be wiped, swiped, and pushed aside. Period, point blank. That's it. Part of that good plan is for you to experience this loss, this grief. No experience goes unwarranted. No experiences go without holding great, great value. And the more difficult the experience, the greater the value it's going to hold in lessons. You're going through something profound. And you are divinely protected in this time. It doesn't matter what shadow entities. It doesn't matter. They can't get near you. They cannot touch you. This is a force field of protection by a divine gatekeeper protecting your light while you're experiencing this deep, deep sorrow. You have archangels surrounding you, and you are protected because you were meant to experience this. It is key for your soul evolution. And it doesn't matter what scenario, every other scenario is below that. This is the highest scenario. This is your highest truth. You need to experience this. You need to know this pain because it's going to serve your soul later. It serves your soul right now, and it served your soul in the past. And it is required for divine healing that you experience this. That's God's love in this. God's love, Creator's love is in this. Creator's love is in every single thing. That's Creator's love in this. And you're going to be okay because Creator is walking you through it. This is not just a structure. This is a structure that cannot be moved. And God is a structure that cannot be moved. And when he sets his archangels, when he assigns them on a task, they do not fail. They're archangels. Let me tell you, friend, Archangel Michael is undefeated in the spirit realm. And he is with you now, protecting you. That's Archangel Michael. That's a divine bridge. And nothing will cross over it without divine authority. That's it. I'm actually going to stop it right there. I think that's the message. I hope all of you have a beautiful night. Know that you're fully protected wherever you are, at all times and in all places, past, present, and future. And your Creator loves you so very much. And regardless of what we're subjected to as humans, this is the human condition to experience suffering, experience pain, loss, grief, to experience vulnerability, to experience our hearts breaking so that they can expand. That's God's love in everything. So you just need to know right now that while you are grieving, you are divinely protected. And there's nothing that can interfere with that. That's all. Your God is with you. Your Creator is with you. And I pray you have blessed, beautiful dreams, dear precious loved